Live. It's Danny Glover. It's October Red. It's Base the Kid. You know where it is. How you doing tonight, guys?
All the better for seeing you. I don't know why bass is on mute though.
No, no, I was making sure I didn't interrupt anything. All good. We're all here. Maestro, not sure where he's at the moment. Hopefully, he will jump in shortly. He might be doing a little bit of filming and some coaching and whatnot. Apologies, run a little bit late, ladies and gentlemen. We just figured out that there was an easier way to do it than running it through a different studio, but that's a whole nother drama, which we'll save for another time. But how is everyone?
Yeah, man. All's well. All's good. I just got back. About several hours ago from Ipswich. I was up there for the TM14 Nelson's boxing.
Nielsen Boxing Day. Okay, how
Um,
did that go? I was watching part of it on YouTube. I need to go back and check it for the Alicia Tierney fight.
yeah, it was on Fight Zone, weren't it? So yeah, it was a good show. Had some good prospects. Few people who are fighting for titles on the next show next month at the O2 Indigo, like Daniel Francis fighting for the Southern area. You've got P.A. Gordon. He's fighting for the English title next. And then obviously you saw Katie. She just won the Commonwealth Silver title last night as well. So yeah, they're putting on some good shows and some good prospects on there.
Good stuff. And what about you, Red? How are you?
All right, kind of similar to Danny, just coming back from Manchester after last night's show, which I'm sure that we'll go into. But I do need to apologise. The technical difficulties with Fight Fan Live is my fault. We are rectifying it, but I got to put my hands up. I kind of messed up that there. But thank you for joining us to all the listeners. We are going to be putting out some direct content from Fight Fan. We're going to have a TikTok account, an Instagram account, a
Right.
Twitter account. Fight Talk, sorry. Fight Talk. That's why I messed it up.
Thank you for
Um,
the plug, though.
yeah, you know what? It is what it is. We plug each other in a nice way. Pause. Rip
No diddy.
Buddy. Anyway, yeah, we're going to get back on it. But yeah, thank you very much for all of you joining in with us this evening. A good night in Manchester, though. I will say, Big Frank put on a wicked show. Everything, I wasn't bored once. It was brilliant. An absolute fantastic night.
Do you know what you say that right? And that sounds great, but from everything that I see online, everyone is saying that actually no, that was one of the worst shows he's put on in a long time.
Serious.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing
Yeah,
online.
that's
So
what I've seen
You
online as
you
well.
know what? It's mad when you're there. It must be completely different when you're there because I had no complaints. I wasn't bored watching the fights there. Um, but I guess it looks different when you're at home. I
No, do
don't
you know
know.
what it is? There's a mixture of things. One, because the Abdullah was it Masood?
Yeah, I
They
thought
thought
he
he
won.
got they thought he got robbed. Then
I thought he won 100%.
obviously Zach Parker. We'll get onto that. And
Okay.
then
I missed that fight.
yeah, I'm sure I know why.
I was round the back. Oh,
Yeah, I know.
let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not.
I know, in a
Let's,
clandestine location, but
you know what? Let's not.
let's not.
Let's keep
Yeah.
let's keep it clean.
Yes.
uh, hold on, let me make sure that people aren't looking at that. So that's deleted.
How do you join the live? You join the live in the chat. Is that DB? Is that DB1? You join it in the chat. We're not inviting anyone at the moment, so you have to listen to us rattle on to each other. Hopefully, that'll be entertaining enough for you. But it is. If it isn't, we have an open door policy. You can come and go as you please. Well, good
Right.
evening to you, DB.
Okay, so hopefully
So
that
yeah,
should
so where should we start then? We should
Wherever you
start
want to
at
start, Danny.
well, I think we should start on Friday. First, we should start at the the GBM Sports.
I mean, look,
Um,
I'll be honest with you. I would basically breeze through that stuff because I don't really think much
yeah, we're
people.
breezing through. I
I,
remember it's
I
only one
watched
fight I'm
Shakan.
covering.
Obviously, I watched Shakan's fight for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the only one I watched on the card as well. So that's it'll just be that one, and that was and really it was a quick fight. Obviously, very surprising during. I'll go first. Very surprising during fight week to learn of, you know,
Santos,
well, a few things. Santos first being pulled by the French board
brain scan.
because he had a failed brain scan and a brain bleed and was unfit to box. Because the build up was looking good. Obviously, we know Daniel uh, Blender Santos from his fight with Joshua Boatsi,
We do indeed.
former soldier. You know, he woke up and he was crying his eyes out and stuff like that. So I
Concussed.
thought, but he won. But he won the European title, and I thought, okay, this is going to be a good fight. So that fell through. Then I heard it was meant to be a Belgian guy, but then he couldn't get over here in time to weigh in. So then it ended up
Okay.
being a new opponent. And then during the week, Shakan Pitters, revealed the loss of his father, Colin Pitters, who was a former boxer. Went points with guys like Richie Woodall back in the day and stuff like that. So yeah, and the stuff he's been going through with his family because it's not the first.
No.
His sister a few years ago as well. And I was surprised how he held it together. He didn't, very, very tough a fight week, but he thanked his family and his team for helping him and covering him and stuff like that whilst he was training for the fight. And whilst he was in there, I could feel the pain
Yeah, man.
because
Yeah.
I haven't seen him throw punches like that before. You could
He's
feel
very
the
aggressive.
he wanted to like when probably you went in the gym and he was someone teeing off on the bag, really like just vicious, just wanted to let the pain out, and that's what that opponent sustained, and hence he got him out of there in 2 rounds. The guy had only been stopped once in about 30 fights, and yeah, I think if it was Dos Santos in there, I think Shakan would have took him out as well. Maybe not as quick, but I could see he was really on a mission because he spoke with his father that he was gonna win that European title and bring it to him. And his dad said, yep. He showed him how to throw his first jab. So all those memories, he's a man on a mission. So I know he's going to fight for it next. And Izzy Asif, he's got big, big aspirations. So yeah, well done to Shakan and yeah, kudos and condolences to the family and all the loved ones of friends and family.
Yeah, I will concur with that about Shakan because obviously I popped into his gym a couple of weeks ago and spoke with him, and obviously there was stuff going on in the background that I wasn't aware of, but he spoke about his father quite a lot because his father was a boxer. He was, he was speaking about his dad getting them all up in the morning before school to go running. That regimented kind of attitude. His father was a key part of his life, and Shakan talks about football was potentially his career, and that fell through. And then he wanted to become a boxer. It was his older brother Anwar Pitters that was, the boxer, the one that was supposed to like follow in the boxing footsteps, and he was in the army, a good, boxer in the army. And Shakan was determined he was going to do it. His dad was saying, "Oh, Anwar's the boxer," and Shakan's like, "No, I can do it as well." And Shakan won a few fights, and his dad was like, "You know what? You're actually quite good." And it was speaking to him, listening to that relationship that he had with his father. In hindsight now, it's more touching because obviously there's a massive significance behind what he was saying. But even at the time, it was heartwarming listening to it because you see how close he was to his father. So unfortunately, losing his dad and having to still, train. He didn't stop his training. He kept, I spoke to his personal trainer that does his strength and conditioning. He still carried on with it, totally focused, totally determined because his dad says, go and get the title. The beautiful regalia that he had in memory of his father. And like you said, Danny, he just went out there with Vim and took the geezer out. But even when he won, you could see the pain in his eyes because it's like I've won, but there was pain there, and it was quite sad, to see that emotion from him. But he's gonna go on to do great things. He's one of the kindest people that I've ever met. Even when I first started out, he suggested that I can sponsor you, I can help you. Very, very kind gentleman, lovely guy. That Danny, I know he's been in with your cousin. He's also been in with Dan Aziz. He's been in with the British guys, and I just wish him nothing but the best because he's a genuine soul. And I'm not just saying that because his dad has passed on, I'm saying that because that's who he is. So shout out to Shakan Pitters. Shout out to all of the fighters at Eastside Gym. All of the work that they've put in there with him. They've had him from basically get go, and we wish him all the best for his future. And he is fighting for the EBU. I think it's in March now. Maybe March the 8th, March the 7th. He will be fighting for that belt with a new opponent. So yeah, respect to Shakan Pitters.
Yeah, no, look, I will echo those sentiments. Um, Obviously, the fight yesterday, on Friday, was what it was. We can't really look too much into that last minute opponent. So went from a 12 rounder to a 6 rounder. But yeah, he done his thing. Very sort of composed throughout all the interviews afterwards. I guess he didn't really let the overall emotions get to him. He, as you guys said, did look like he was punching harder than he usually does. So maybe that might be because he knew the person in front of him wasn't really about it in that sense. Maybe it was just a case of, you know what, this is what I have to do to basically start to, to dominate and win these fights. But look, it was a good performance from him for as little as it lasted. We go again in March or April, whenever that's going to take place. He can sort of stay in the gym, stay on weight. Doing a second weight cut shouldn't be too difficult for him. Also, I guess just a quick what's up to Shaquille Thompson as well, who main evented the card in the end against David Benitez, I think his name was. Won that fight in 4 rounds. Nothing major to talk about, but yeah, just want to highlight and give him his little bit of props on that GBM card as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did see that fight as well. Good finish by Shaquille Thompson. I saw. Yeah, I did see that as well. That one.
Okay, go for it, Danny. Let's take it away to where you want to go next.
Well, let's start with we'll go with the Manchester card. The well, yeah. Let's start with the main event.
Okay.
I think that's what the people want to hear about. Um, so yeah, Derek Chisora versus Otto Wallin from Sweden. Derek Chisora's 49th fight. Um, Seemed very emotional on his entrance. So yeah, Base, what did you think of the fight, and how close was it to your prediction? Because I know you do the basis picks.
Oh no, the prediction was spot on. I said Derek Chisora unanimous decision. Um, I said like basically the whole first half of the fight would kind of be him, um,
Oh wow, you called
pretty
it.
much dominating, and Valin would be sort of, he'd maybe be hoping it'll go past sort of the first 5 or 6, then try to take over, or when Derek sort of starts to gas out a little bit, which is exactly what happened. But what I thought is, I actually thought it was a 10 rounder, because that's what it was being
Same.
billed as previously, and then I think immediately when it became a quote unquote an eliminator
Yeah.
for the IBF, it got changed to a 12. And I know I heard Derek saying that he wasn't happy about that initially. And the fact that he didn't want, I think he says, if you in these eliminators, then you got to wait around for stuff. But probably he said, okay, I'll do it, just for the simple fact that, because he's technically with Frank, if it comes down to it, I'm sure he could get Dubois to take a little bit of a, quote unquote, a voluntary after the Parker fight, especially if the Bacoli fight doesn't take place till May. So Turkey has the abilities to make fights before that fight even happens. Therefore, the IBF can't call the mandatory. That's why it took so long for them to do that fight in the first place. Anyway, that aside, talking about the fight itself, look, the fight was engaging, but unfortunately, to me, it was engaging for all the wrong reasons. Like, from the round one, Derek Chisora, he looked horrible. He looked like he was in pain. Every step he was taking, it looked like he was having to like will himself just to move forward. Like the way he normally does the cross guard and the hunker down and the dip underneath, everything just looked slow and awkward, and not like the Chisora I even saw in the Joyce fight, for instance. Like the Joyce fight, he looked a lot more fluid than that. Um, but he was winning. He was winning the rounds. He was obviously doing more than Wallin. Wallin just wasn't doing anything, especially early, tucking
Mm.
up, not even really trying to push the jab out and maybe try to deter Chisora. He's just trying to feint with it, trying to then moving back, getting pushed on the ropes. There was a lot of leaning, a lot of holding. It didn't really pick up and catch fire, quote unquote, until about round 4, round 5, and that's where it almost kind of seemed like the old bones and the old joints of Chisora started to actually like lubricate and get into a bit more gear. He started to look a bit more intentful and forceful in his movement, but then all the movement just started to look like he had no equilibrium. It just looked like he was constantly off balance again, still
Spot on.
stumbling forward. It was just very clunky, and then that's where Wallin sort of started to come into the fight. He for me, I had him winning rounds 5 and 6. Then Chisora kind of came back in round 7, um, and I think then Wallin maybe had a good. I think he had a good.
3
No,
rounds.
Chisora was round 7. Valin, I think, had a decent. He was okay in 8, and he was winning. I think he was winning 7 or 8 until he got knocked down. Then it swung back to Chisora. Valin had a good 10 and 11, and then obviously he was started well in the 12th, but then knocked down again in the 12th and sort of took it away from him. So it was a case where he just wasn't doing enough with the lead hand to try and deter Chisora. Um, but it played out whereas I thought Chisora would be front heavy in terms of the fight and then start to kind of sort of more sit on the ropes towards the back, try to catch him
Yeah.
with singles, looping, similar to like he did with the Joe Joyce fight, win the earlier rounds and then sort of coast in the later ones and then try to look for the
Swing
big
it
shot,
out.
take him out. And that's kind of how I saw the fight ultimately. The first not the first knockdown, the second knockdown, I do feel a little bit sorry for Wallin, despite how like awful his performance and lackluster it was, and the fact he'll probably never get another proper opportunity now after putting in such a stinker. But that second knockdown was unfortunate because when you look at it, you see obviously he rides a couple of the shots, but then when he dips down, he does get punched on the back of the head. It's not to the side; it's right in the where the spine meets the skull is basically where Chisora kind of caught him with a glancing shot, and ultimately that's what took his legs away, and that's how he ended up getting dropped for that second one. But it wouldn't really have made much difference. Like Chisora, all he had to do was not get knocked out to win the fight in that last round, and he did what he needed to do. I scored it 116, 110, same as one of the
Okay.
judges, and I was closer to him and the other one than the 114, 112 judge. I'm sure people spoke about that. I did look at that and I said, if you're looking at it, there was a round where I was gonna give to Wallin, but I ended up just shading it over to Chisora. So that could technically have been that 5th round. Um, and then I don't know where you find the 6th one from, but it wasn't as awful a scorecard as people have. It was a bad scorecard because I don't trust it, but it wasn't as bad as people have made out compared to some of the other egregious scorecards we've seen in the sport.
True.
But yeah, that's all my thoughts of the fight. I was all for, and technically, if he wants to do it, I'm happy for him to do the 50. But after what I saw last night and just how much he regressed, even since the Joyce fight, I don't know. I think 50 is now it's a bit of a problem, especially with the choices that he put up in the ring after the fight. But yeah,
It's funny that you say that though, Base, because in the post fight press conference, he said he had his ears went from I think round number 1 or round number 2. So you're spot on there. You said his equilibrium was off, his balance was off. He said from I think it was round 1 or round 2 in the post fight press conference, he says that Wallin popped his ears. So you're spot on with that. Like to say, he was absolutely all over the place. I'm just looking at some of the comments. Where the first knockdown was so strange because Wallin obviously just went backwards and literally fell over himself. But when you like freeze frame it, and somebody put it up on X, it looks like he's just like sat in the air with his legs up. It's absolute. It was a crazy fight. There was a lot of backwards and forwards base. I can't really disagree with anything that you've said, except for Wallin just looked like he didn't want to. He just looked like he didn't want to be there, like he didn't want to engage. From ringside, it looked like Derek had hurt his or popped his nose early. Not that there was any blood, but you could see that Wallin kept on like breathing weird, or like he was trying to sniff through his nose to see if his nose was okay. So we know that he had that injury from when he fought Anthony Joshua. Has that filtered through to this? So, but I thought it was a good fight. Derek once again showed heart. No, he's not the most tidiest of fighters. He's not that compact, complete, beautiful boxer with that mixed in professional and amateur style. We're never going to get that from Derek. But I think he did a really good job. Maestro's in the chat. Maestro, where don't you want to jump in? He did a really good job with what he had and his face. I think he was cut in 3 places. I thought it was 1, but it was actually 3 places that he was actually cut in. There was a lot of emotion, like you said, leading into the fight. 49 fights. Yeah, he's going to go to 50, but he's adamant that he's not going to go past 50. He's like, this is it now. 50 is the last fight, and that's it. I'm walking away. But now he's implying that he wants it to be at Tottenham. He wants to be at home. He wants to fight at home with the British public. And shout out to Derek Chisora because he bought all the media. What's it, Five Guys burgers, those big burgers that you get from Five Guys. There must have been about 100 burgers that he gave to everybody at the end of a night when we didn't even think he was going to turn up for the post-fight press conference, but he did. Entertaining fighter. You can't deny what he's done for British boxing. He's definitely one of the characters that we won't forget. And it just goes to show you don't have to have that perfect winning record. You don't even need to be a world title holder to get the credit, you know, when it comes to British boxing. Because when we fall in love with you as a fighter, we'll back you to the very end. And you saw that with the crowd. The crowd was electric for him. And Derek gets the fans like that. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, was it tidy? Was it neat? Was it compact? Was it the best British boxing match or a world title eliminator match that I've watched? No. But was it entertaining? Yeah.
I think, yeah, like I said, I when I say it wasn't it's kind of horrible to watch in that sense. It was one of those ones to me where even though it just wasn't a good fight, but it was an engaging fight, and it was engaging just because we know that this is like almost the last part, so you kind of put your investment in there just
There's
for
an
that
emotional
fact.
connection.
Yeah,
I agree.
and I think that's basically what it traded off. Because had this not have been quote unquote the last dance in the UK,
True,
no one would be saying, "Oh, great performance by Chisora, he pulled out the bag." I think they'd be saying, "Oh, this was a shit fight. Like he can barely move. The other guy can't. The other guy's not throwing any punches. They're just falling into each other. And then the only thing, if those 2 knockdowns didn't happen, I think the fight gets looked at a lot differently, personally.
You know what? You know what's mad though, Base? Because I think maybe if I was watching it at home, I might have said more or less or similar to what you have said. But there's something about watching the fights live. And I say this for somebody that's been sat doing watch-alongs and then all of a sudden pop back up at the fights. When you go there live, it's totally different because there's a whole vibe. It's like you're sitting there with the audience and everyone that's screaming and cheering, and that kind of changes your mindset. So where you like at home, you're looking at maybe the technicalities and you can hear the audience in the background, you're actually there with it and it just intensifies absolutely everything. So I actually would encourage British fans, if they can, even if it's the cheap seats, whatever it is, right at the back, right at the top, try and go and watch the matches live. It's completely different from the TV. Not that I'm doing a sales pitch, but there's a honestly, there's a massive difference.
Miss Queensbury over there. Like...
No, but this is Queen Watch Along. This is Queen Watch Along. Do you know what I mean? I'm always at home.
I thought maybe he was doing an advertisement because I saw Ade in his stories talking about they need to bring out possibly a season ticket for boxing because he's saying with Frank Queensbury going over to the Zone that it might become too expensive for people to choose between what week they want to go, like i.e. yesterday.
You know what? That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Imagine that though, if you could buy a DAZN season ticket, so then you can go to whatever. That means you're open to different platforms. You might even be in America with Golden Boy, and there's a fight on. Oh yeah, do you want it? We've got season ticket. Let's. But that's not a. Listen,
yeah, Monte
I'm not. I
Carlo.
don't work for DAZN, but that ain't a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, but my thoughts on the fight, I thought that the fight was actually quite entertaining. And yes, the knockdowns did help, but also Chisora was bringing the fight, and it was many times where, well, quite a few times where he was volleying shots. Like there was a point where there was about 23 unanswered hooks.
Bro,
A lot of it started to the body, and then he just started wailing to the head. But you can see the
waiting.
referee is looking in a bit because it's like, whoa, it's taking a lot of hits there.
Yeah,
So Chisora was bringing it. Yeah, at the first couple of rounds, mechanically, I don't know if he needed to. They needed to do proper like stretches in the back, old school PE, like swing your arms in a circle, forwards and backwards.
windmilling.
Yeah, forwards and backwards, and then hands out, and then do that in circles because his shoulders was not moving. His shoulders were stiff as I don't know. They were stiff, boy. Because I could see when he's trying to throw them hooks at first in the first couple of rounds, he looked clumsy. His shoulders weren't hooking properly. He was off balance. Obviously, his
Yeah,
balance has been a bit off anyway for the last couple of years. You can see him when he's walking. He's walking old, but he's taken a lot of shots. He's 41 years old now.
yeah.
He turned pro at what 23 years old. Because I remember when he was even in the amateurs, and he was boxing technically on like my undercards in the amateurs. So he's been fighting a very long time. And as a heavyweight, I remember he knocked out my friend Marvin in the national novices. So yeah, man, Chisora, big up Chisora. I remember I even done, because might as well talk about a little history with Chisora since it is coming to the closing of his
Yeah.
career. I remember I've done doors with Chisora, like
What?
working as a bouncer. Yeah, him, and I've done bouncing with Dillian White as well on doors. So yeah, and then to see them both go on and make such a success of their careers, it's just great to see and a testament. Do you know what I mean? It's not about where you start; it's about where you finish. And yeah, man, Chisora, he brought the fight. Otto Wallin, he was threatening with the jab. When Chisora would go back to the corner, he was threatening in there, touch, 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 and then he wouldn't let his hand go. Like it's like, why are you petting for? I think maybe he might be a bit gun shy because he's got stopped by Anthony Joshua. I know he's never been on the floor before, Wallin until last night, and he ended up there twice. But it seems like, yeah, maybe he's a bit gun shy now because he got stopped, and he maybe don't like. And from what I've heard, some people have said that surprisingly, Chisora's the hardest puncher they've been in with. A few boxers, even
Serious?
though quite a few boxers have said that, and they're talking about they've been hit by the likes of AJ and Dillian White and stuff, and they're saying Chisora's punched them the hardest. So sometimes, but when you do go through people's resumes, there's a lot of fighters that will say a certain somebody was the hardest puncher, yet on box rec paper,
Mm.
you wouldn't necessarily think that. I.e., Carl Froch said that Robin Reed was the hardest he's been hit before.
Okay.
Lennox Lewis said Shannon Briggs was the hardest punch he's ever taken.
Well, that wasn't surprising.
Yeah, because he had him running across the ring.
But but the thing is, what it is about the hardest punch. And sorry to jump in. Like, I think a lot of them said that. I think mechanically, because the way Chisora throws his punches, he throws his entire body into every shot. Whereas a lot of them, it's the hip, it's the arm, it's the shoulder straight in. But Chisora is everything. So
Yes.
even though he's not big enough, it doesn't really get the knockout. The punches themselves are a lot heavier because there's a lot more weight behind each individual punch.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed. And because the way he throws it, it's like a street fight punch, almost, because it's when you're on road and and a civilian really just lamps you. So you can imagine him. Oh my God, I would not want to be in a dust out of him because he's putting everything in. So yeah, well that maybe that Uber boy he knew. Don't just allow it. Just pick up your 5 guys, deliver it, and just head to the next.
Does he sound a bit crazy though, guys? I know, like I said, he's not been a world champion. I think did he win the Commonwealth?
He won the European. And
European.
He won the European once. He did get that.
And he won the British.
Would they even consider him as part of potential like a Hall of Fame, or is there a certain standard for that? And I know you guys will probably laugh me into the mud.
No.
but he has done a lot for British boxing.
He has, but he wouldn't get into an international Hall of Fame because
Right.
he
Okay.
hasn't done enough from an accolades or I
Okay.
think maybe a cultural standpoint in that sense.
However,
Yeah,
He'd get into the British Boxing Hall of Fame for
if
sure.
there was one, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
because someone like even Harold Graham, who didn't win a world title,
Hmm.
Yeah.
who they say is the best boxer to never win a world title, and he came close until he met the Hawk. Well, the Hawk just iced him once. He
I
was so
remember
ahead
that
on the card,
fight.
and
Remember the Hawk with one eye as well. That's what makes
yeah,
it
with
crazy.
one eye, the one-eyed Hawk. Um,
I love getting
licked him.
educated by you guys.
Yeah, what's it? Julian Jackson
Jackson.
licked him with the hook, and he was out before he hit the floor, boy. He- Man, he's got that plantation power from
Oh my
St.
days. You had to be
Thomas in
taking
the
it.
Virgin Islands, man. But yeah, no, big up to Chisora. I
Yeah,
thought the
big him
fight
up,
was good.
yes.
I thought the fight was decent.
What
But yeah,
about MBE or something like that? Do you think he should be put forward for something like that? Because he's like,
well,
make
he
Britain
wants
great
he
again.
wants to get political
Probably,
now.
I don't think they would because
Serious.
he's got too much in his past.
He's got a
That
bit
is,
of vim
yeah,
behind.
like they like people that act and are all kind of prim and proper. He's very much not like that, and he says a lot of things that aren't in keeping with the embassy as such. So yeah, I don't know if he would get that accolade.
Yeah,
Mm,
he's been to law school before a couple of times, and
okay.
also when you're shouting on TV, I will physically bun you. You know,
Hmm.
um, that's not really going to get
Hey,
you
it's
the accolade.
emotion.
Yeah, I
But you
know,
know
but
what? He is a really. I know people don't get to see this side of him, and I was a bit skeptical of him because obviously you see him and he's quite an aggy character, and he can flip as he does. But literally, like sitting down speaking with him, he's somebody that's like pulled me to one side and given me like business advice, like offered like to, help and like push me in a like certain direction for my brand. So I guess that's kind of the side that the public doesn't see of Derek. We just kind of see this wild side, but underneath all of that is somebody that genuinely like wants to help, and I can say the same for Dillian White, but I'm sure we're going to get on to
Well,
discuss him
do you
later.
know what? I think technically people are seeing that side of Derek now because he's
Okay.
been in his last few, especially in the last couple of fights, he's been talking specifically about people should be sharing the wealth or sharing the
All
knowledge
right then.
or not,
Yeah. Well, there you
trying to
go.
hog everything for themselves. And you can hear him in the interviews. He drops these little nuggets in between the
Facts.
obsceneries and
Yeah,
stuff. So I
facts.
think like
Facts.
if you're searching for it, you find everything that you've just spoken about.
yeah,
Yeah.
even a few years ago when he was telling a big news outlet, media outlet, you share the pie,
Said the
stop hogging
name,
the
man.
pie.
Oh, I remember
IFL.
that.
Stop
Shout
hog
out
up
to Coogan
everything.
from IFL. He said, "Stop being so greedy and start sharing out the pie." I remember
Sharing
that.
out the pie, and
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
Derek, Derek, he's given me some advice, and he's a cool guy, man. Obviously, he has his good days and his bad days, but don't we all?
I hope he
Um,
gets some accolades for the stuff that he has done for British boxing. Whether
yeah,
you agree with him, whether you like him, I understand that there's plenty of people that don't. However, he has been a character for the sport.
yeah, and big up my boy Leon Williams, who was part of his training team as well, helping him with his strength and
Was he?
conditioning. Yeah, yeah,
As
yeah, yeah.
in Vidal Riley's Leon Williams?
No,
Was
no,
it?
no, no.
Oh,
Leon Solid Williams, former British cruiserweight champion.
oh, and he had Ross Amber on that cut as well, and he was spot on with that cut because I was extremely worried about it. The one that was bleeding profusely to start, but he had
Yes.
Ross Amber in the cut. He looked solid cutsman.
Yeah, good cutsman, and also what I would say about Joey Gamach, you could see him in the corner around the 11th round.
Oh yeah, screaming.
He was trying to G him up, but you could hear he'd given up. He was like, "Come on, man, just you can knock him out." Like he's trying to G him up. He's like, "This is what he's." But he's like, "I can't feel it because I know you'd give. I know he's given up." And it was sad to see. And then also the broadcast team, they need to stop with this. I'm sorry for the language, mate. It's
Oh,
eleven
is that
thirty
what you
at
did? You
night.
tweet that? Did you tweet something about
Yes,
that about the language?
yes. I said, why are you saying it's 11:30 p.m. at night? It's way
It's
past
boxing.
watershed.
It's
Kids
boxing.
should be in bed. Were you apologizing for language at 11:30 at night? Stop it, man.
No, you know
Stop
what? The
it.
thing you say about Joey Marsh, and I didn't hear it because I wasn't obviously I didn't have
Obviously,
the
yeah,
sound on.
I
I
didn't hear it
was
either.
yeah. But the thing is, if he was saying that, he should actually because in rounds 10 and 11, those were some of Wallin's best rounds in the fight. Like he actually looked like Derek was the one in the retreat in survival mode almost. If he had a stepped on the gas, tried to throw that jab out a bit more, he could have probably done something in those rounds. So maybe when you're saying, look, like, go for it, you can knock him out. He's like, well, you ain't gonna win on points, but this is your opportunity. So
If
Yeah,
you
he
see, to
tried.
be fair, if you see, just said a good comment there, is for the advertisers that most likely that they'll apologise because, you know, essentially sponsorships, etc., corporate industries. I understand that.
Oh, fair enough. But I just think it's unnecessary at 11:30 at night.
Uh,
But yeah,
we've
anything
got
else on the fight?
I was literally, I was
Joshua.
about
It's
to
my
message him.
fault.
Yeah.
Joshua, it's my fault. I kind of like messed up the channel accidentally, but don't worry, it's going to be back in
It
full
will be back.
effect
Yes.
next weekend. So, guys, Fight Talk Live will be relaunching, and it's all my fault because I messed it up next
But
week. So
you
just keep
will.
an eye out for it and then resubscribe. That's what you got to do. But Joshua, it's my fault. 2025 is a year of accountability.
Oh, I love to see it. It's finally after took you how long? What 40 plus years? But now we're being accountable.
Bro, let's not do this because Danny's already got the pages list to rinse me this evening. I don't know how much more I can take tonight. I'm a
Oh,
strong girl, you know, but I don't know.
Danny must get the most hate for that Yankee axe. I told you to stop doing it. You
I
don't
can't
listen.
help it. I can't help it.
Shout out to Tony. Good to see you, my guy.
I do. Do you know why I do it to them? Because they butcher the Jamaican accent so much. So I got to do something for them.
Yeah, but Danny, two wrongs don't make a right. You know this.
Danny
A
don't
left no make a right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it made a right in me, but you
Oh
know,
no, did he? No, did he?
Oh,
no, my surname, my
oh,
surname.
oh,
Yeah, but
it's okay,
you
Danny.
can't
We're
be telling these
open. We're
people that,
open.
man.
It's 2025.
Mm.
We're okay with these things.
Well, are we after what we saw with Jack Rafferty after the fight? I mean,
Right. Well,
I don't know if we was ready
no,
for all of that.
Boxing Beats and Rhymes put something up on Twitter,
You
but I
didn't. You was in the chat. You was in. He was full on like
did.
Snogging.
lipsing man in the
Are
changing
you
room.
telling me the truth?
He was
Yes,
snogging. They were
yes.
snogging.
I lie, you tell
Every
me.
man in that was
I
getting
swear.
full on planted for seconds. I was horrified. I'm like, what
Yeah,
is
he
this?
went in for
This
the other.
doesn't make
He went
sense.
in for seconds. I saw that.
Yeah, yes, it
Really?
was. It was not for. It was
No,
not.
they actually.
Yes, like
Oh,
Listen,
okay.
full on.
You know.
listen. It was X-rated. That one I get man excited.
Yeah, no
Do you get you
excitement there.
excited?
Just shock.
No,
That was just shock. We never expect to see that.
Okay, well, it's 2025, guys, and we are moving forward. Are we going to move down the list? Because I think we've given Chisora his, well-deserved accolades.
thanks,
Fight
bro.
number 50. I don't care what anyone says. It has to be Dillian White for me. I don't care. I know somebody's put, if he fights Usyk again, he'll beat him. So shout out to whoever put that in the comments. That was further up.
Mm-hmm.
But me, it's the nostalgia with him and Dillian White. Maybe I need to just get over it and move on. But guys,
No,
what
do
you
you know
saying?
what? Look, it's one of the options. But to me personally, I I was wrestling with it. Yes, I was like, okay, look. So you got Dillian White. You've potentially got Deontay Wilder if he comes back and does anything. Although I
That's
would,
AJ, that is.
I've
That's
been
AJ.
picking I've been picking Chisora to beat Deontay Wilder for like the last 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone used to like crazy. You man, you're crazy. You etc etc. All of a sudden, after 2023, now everyone else, that could be the fight for Derek. So I'm like, okay, cool. So you lot late to the party, but it's fine. So there's him. There is White.
Yeah.
There's the possible Ngannou thing, which they've been talking about, especially if it's the fight in Africa. But to me, I said this based on the current landscape. I think he should go for Kubrat Pulev next. He should, because he's
You
1-1 with
reckon?
Pulev. Yeah, Dillian White's beat him twice. If he wins that fight, okay, he got a win back, but he still lost the trilogy. He lost the trilogy to Tyson Fury. Joseph Parker, he's in a technical trilogy with. He would lose that one as well. He's 1-1 with Pulev. That's technically a trilogy that he can still win. Plus, he can get a version of a world title, even though it's not
Version.
it's not the full title, but you know they will promote it to high heaven that it's the WBA world title.
Fair
Chisora's
enough.
last title shot in his last ever fight.
And
Can
this
he
is
win
what
the
I'm saying.
title?
Is it marketable like that,
Yeah.
base? You
So
think you could do that?
they could do
Yes.
all that, and he, you know,
Okay.
he
I
play
never
on it
even thought of that.
again. It will be the regular, but to the people outside of the actual boxing world, they will look at it. They will just, oh, he's a world champion now. That's what they'll see. So
Mm.
all of that to me plays the best, and it's the most intrigue because it's a chance to get a trilogy actually won, to get that over the line, fight for another version of a title and potentially win it and win the world title in your last ever fight. Like that's you know, that's sort of the stuff of Hollywood movies. They could, you know, they could put that narrative behind it. So that would be who I would choose.
Okay. What about you, Danny? What do you think?
Well, I wanted to see him fight, do his last fight in Zimbabwe in Africa. But it seems like
Zimbabwe.
he's not gonna. He wants to do a Tottenham thing. He's staying home, but he was born in Zimbabwe, so where's home exactly? I know he's, you know, campaigning for the what's it, reform, and he's wearing MAGA hats. I know this ain't a MAGA hat. It's Let's Go Champ, by the way. So yeah, he's getting really political. But I'd rather him just do the thing in Africa, a softer touch.
I don't think he's interested.
But yeah, but he's taking so many shots. It's just sometimes it does get hard to watch. Like it's gonna catch up with him later on in life, you know. And it's
Yeah, 100%.
so I don't. That's why I don't. All this taking big shots of AJ and big shots of this person. I don't think it's necessary. Just maybe doing an Ngannou one in Africa. I think that's safe enough. Or if, as a good point Base said, I didn't even think of that one. Pulev, you could do that in
Yeah,
Africa.
that was like so random, but the
Yeah,
way he told it, it makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, take him to Africa because I know people was really pushing for Moses Itoma to get that Pulev one, so that
Who
way they
left
can
fight, yeah.
scream that he beats Mike Tyson's record, even though he doesn't. So yeah, I know they'll pump this WBA. Well, you know how they get behind it. They'll really pump it.
Mm.
Yeah, so that sounds like a good idea. But either one, Ngannou or Pulev, and take it to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, if he's just put in the comments there, and I know if he's watched the Seconds Out interview with Radio Raheem. If you haven't, guys, go and have a watch because it is a very interesting conversation that Radio Raheem has with him. Chisora wore a reform hat and complained about colonizers. He's been as finessing reform for the mullah. But go and watch the interview. It's very, very interesting because Radio Raheem actually questions why he does what he does and then further questions him on his answers. So I won't spoil it. Go and watch it. Seconds Out. Shout out to Radio Raheem.
Yeah, I watched it. It was a very good interview.
Very good interview.
I'll check it out after this.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah, it was one that I actually sat down and thought, interesting.
Yeah, no, it was good. But yeah, so moving down the card.
Moving down. Coleman?
Yeah, but that was what, Mr. Zach Parker?
No,
No,
Nathan
it's
Heaney.
Nathan Heaney.
Oh, Nathan Heaney. Yeah, I only saw the highlights of it because
Did
obviously
you?
because remember I was at the show, the other
Oh,
show,
yeah.
the Nielsen's boxing fight was clashing a bit. So yeah, I saw the highlights and yeah, Nathan Heaney, the entrance, man, surely they're going to use some of those clips for some promo advertising for certain channels because he was like, they was getting all the best camera shots of him. Like it was looking really good, like really good entrance, and the lighting was spot on. And the crowd was really behind it. And then yeah, he was throwing his jab out at first, and then all of a sudden, I saw because it was highlights, so I'm not sure how the whole fight went, but then I just saw the guy just start mashing him up, and he just got stopped. I'm like, oh, that's two now. That's not good, is it? I don't know if his punch resistance is going. I don't know if surely he's not the hunger's going because he looked in shape.
He's always in shape.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened there.
Being in shape don't win your fights.
Yeah, I know, but as I always say, there's built for show and there's built to go. You know?
Oh, Danny, you are hot tonight.
I mean, look,
We're not going to talk about Anthony Yard sitting ringside with Frank Warren. We're going to get to that. But anyway,
no, but you know, okay, that's funny. Just you know what's funny about them two sitting ringside? Obviously, Frank was sitting next to like straightforward, and then all of a sudden, the next time you see them together, no, Frank's moved Joe Joyce next to him instead, and he's on the other side. And I'm like, oh, that looks curious. Like that's not where you were seated before.
Interesting.
But no, look, he need. I mean, look. To be fair, let's maybe look at it for where it actually is.
Go
And
on.
this is no disrespect and anything. Like cracking guy, interviewed him before. Like he's a really good guy.
Hmm.
He's obviously as an older guy now, but maybe the Denzel Bentley thing was a flattery to deceive. Like maybe that was literally the best it got. Because if you remember, before that, he was saying like, "Look, I would be happy if I won a British title."
Yeah.
Like he never really had designs on even getting past that level. That's how it came across. As soon as he won that fight, that's when he started talking about I want to try and get
So
for the European, and I think that I belong at this level, etc. But maybe that was just the outlier in a career that is basically domestic level, fringe British level / British, and sort of that's where he's at, and that's the level. And now being 35, still making middleweight, who knows what that actually takes out of him, because he's a guy that's always in shape, so it's not like he's got a lot of fat to have to cut.
true.
So maybe just that's one thing taking its toll. He's never been a big puncher,
Mm.
so he hasn't really got that in the locker whereby, okay, if something's going wrong, I can turn it around, which means I've always got to be perfect for 12 rounds to get the victory. And maybe it's just a case of right now people are just a lot willing to gamble a lot more, especially after the Brad Paul's the first fight and the rematch. Maybe this is the time where you just say, all right, you know what? I achieved what I wanted to achieve in the game. I've had some good paydays in the last couple. Obviously where I'm from, house prices ain't that expensive. I can flip this money into something else. I can put it into construction. Maybe we don't. He doesn't need to
That's
get
a
back in the ring.
typical Londoner answer. That is, the house prices.
No, but then
Oh,
I,
you,
I thought
you
that was a London thing,
Northerners.
there. That was a London
You
thing.
live in cheap houses. You don't pay
I'm,
expensive.
I never said cheap. I said they're cheaper than that. So they put it this way. Them,
Everywhere's cheaper than London.
exactly. But them paychecks, them last couple that he got, they would at least have been a couple 100,000. Yeah, in
Mm.
the last two at least, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
You would say that
Stoke-on-Trent is
absolute
cheap.
minimum is about 150K. You
I
can
heard
you
that
can get.
Frank's giving out big checks.
Well, there you
Yeah,
go. So, but we're talking as a bare minimum that you can't tell me you can't put down two deposit on two house and flip that and make a big.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where my thing is. He looks like the kind of guy that he doesn't look like a flashy guy. He looks like the kind of guy who knows how to make his money last. So I would
Yeah.
assume he's put something into investments or he's doing something. Maybe boxing now. Maybe you have one last one for for like the final bag. If you win that, okay, great. If you lose that, all right, your time's done or whatever. But yeah, it just looks like maybe he's just not at the level that he was 2 years ago, and that's fine. He's
Yeah.
35. He's turning 36. Like maybe he doesn't do it anymore. But I'll be interested to see what happens.
And it just goes to show that sometimes it's just on the night. Denzel Bentley was going through a lot of, and I keep going back to this fight, but we know what Denzel Bentley's capable of. We know who he is, what type of fighter he is. And he was going through a lot at the time of that fight. And he just didn't want to pull out because he's not the guy that's going to pull out of a fight. But then the consequence of that is, like you said, the rise and then the fall of Nathan Heaney, because it's like, do you then think you're a lot better than you are because of the fight that you win, and then it almost sets you up for a downfall. But yeah, Christopher Anthony, are these are snobby Londoners in the comments? The snobby Southerners. I need the Northerners. Where are the Northerners? Where are the Midlanders and the Northerners? I need you to shout up, please.
wait, it's
Shout up in the
150k
chat.
150k in Stoke-on-Trent.
150k is
In
not buying you
Stoke-on-Trent.
nothing.
In Stoke-on-Trent.
I don't know how far is that from Birmingham.
That's
I
Oh,
know
that's
more.
150k.
that's near
They
Sunderland.
ain't buying you nothing nice in Brum. I'll
It's
tell
near
you
It's near,
that.
Sunderland.
yeah, it's near Sunderland. That's getting you something. That's getting you a
Yeah,
profit.
no, but 100. Come on, Red. 150K, like
Yeah.
for a deposit wise, you're talking at least a 3-bed house.
Oh,
150.
deposit. Yeah.
Yeah, but they never said buy it outright.
Oh, I was about
I
to
said
say
put deposit on it
150k
and then
getting
flip
you
it.
getting
No,
you getting you a
What?
flat in a dungeon.
Well, not in
no,
Birmingham.
no. You in Stoke-on-Trent, you can get a 2-bed house full price for about 200. Definitely.
Yeah, you see, so
Stoke-on-Trent.
we're not being we're not disrespecting the ends. We're just saying
Oh,
for
you
that
know what?
money,
It's all right. I
make
get
it
it,
stretch.
Southerners. I get it. You're the capital. You've got separate entities within the city. I get it. I get the elitism. I get it.
We're not elite. We're struggling down here. You
Yeah,
guys
you're
have got it
struggling.
good.
Yeah. You get London waiting, don't you?
What London waiting don't do nothing.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
peanuts.
at least you get it.
That's
Look,
peanuts.
take that London waiting off and give me Birmingham prices. I'll be happy.
Listen, yeah, I don't know where Nathan Heaney goes next. I felt a bit bad for him. I mean, I saw the opponent's girlfriend literally run towards the ring when obviously he got the W, and the tears were streaming down her face. You know, the happiness. Obviously, you know, check's going to be in the bank. Opportunities are probably going to come for this, but the emotion that his girlfriend, the opponent's girlfriend, expressed for his win, that was nice to see because that's a different side.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where his opponent was from.
That's what I was going to ask you. Where's he
Is
from?
he Brazilian?
Sofiane Carty. No, he's I think he's French.
Yeah.
Sofiane Carty. He's French.
Okay.
He might be like Algerian French then or something.
Okay. But the happiness, the delight, you know, from like his missus was like, yeah, that was nice to see. I saw the other side of it because I was in the away corner.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man.
I mean, look,
Uh,
yeah, with regards to that, outside of obviously the whole fight, like, you know, the way you said that you saw the highlights, Danny, is pretty much the way the fight took place. Like first 2 rounds, like Heaney was doing very well behind the jab. He was trying to be a bit more forceful with the backhand as well. But
Mm.
you could see in Carty's face that he just wasn't really, like, nothing really bothered him. And then
Yeah,
it's
he didn't. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it became a point where he started looking and saying, all right, you're throwing these shots, like, you know, fine, I don't want to get hit, but I'm okay with this. But all right, let's see what you do when I try and time you. And he
And
was
that's
basically,
exactly
he
right.
was missing a lot of the backhands. He was missing a lot of the power shots to start off with, but he was jabbing with
Oh,
Heaney and he was beating him to the jab.
yeah.
And that's where Heaney was starting to get
Crumble.
disturbed and frustrated, because
Mm.
obviously he's launching into the jab. He's getting hit with the jab as he's launching in.
Yeah.
That's what busted up the nose, and I saw the blood from the nose coming before everyone else did in that second round where it started, and they didn't. I know no one was
Okay, I
really
didn't
talking
notice it in
about it.
round two.
Yeah. No one was really talking about it until towards the end of round three when it started to stream down the mustache. But I noticed it from early, and as soon as the blood started coming out of his nose, that's when everything was starting to fall apart. And then when he realized that, you know, Sofian, who's not even a puncher himself, 7 KOs in 18
Oh
fights.
wow.
But when he started to kind of let those shots go and they were catching, Heaney didn't really have the answer to it. Also,
Mm.
another criminal thing that Heaney was doing, and obviously he must have thought, he did it against Brad Pauls in both fights, which cost him. He did it towards the end of the Denzel Bentley fight, which started to look like it was costing him. He was carrying his hands too low. His hands were always here, like in his chest.
So it's
It's like, no,
open,
you've got to, it's got to be one, at least one of them's got to be
protecting
quite there.
something.
Yeah, like they're both here. So
Mm.
when he's trying to jab and he's jabbing here, but this hand's down here, so
Yeah.
you're getting caught with a jab. You can't block anything. So yeah, look, fundamental errors on his part. Maybe that's just how he feels comfortable fighting, but it didn't work. But I wanna shout out Carty for the composure and for being able, for knowing when, you know, when he had his guy hurt. And it's funny when he actually got the first knockdown,
Mm.
um, when he obviously, so you see, obviously he punches with Heaney again. So you like hook him with a hook or punch with a punch. You see, and you see the gum shield come out, and you see it drop, and then you see Heaney start to look. But as he's looking down for it, he gets caught right
Oh,
on the side, right just underneath the ear, right in the neck,
gone, mate.
and you can then see his in the slow motion, because you probably won't see this in the crowd, but you see the slow motion, his eyes like they widen,
Oh
and
dear.
then all of a sudden there's the delayed reaction, and then he starts to
Drop.
wobble around
Yeah.
afterwards, and then Carty just sees him, he's after him, and the ref sees the gum shield, but he's like, well, I can't stop this now. And then
What do I choose?
yeah, but then the funny thing is, it's like he catches a couple thumps, but then Carty is actually falling in and smothering himself. But then he actually like knocks into Heaney and bumps him over. But it's like you can't, you know, it was still, even though he pushed him down, the punches beforehand were reeling him anyway, so it had to be a knockdown. And it's
Yeah.
only lucky, obviously, he got the gum shield afterwards. His corner took as much time as they could trying to wash
Well,
that gum shield, make sure there's no grip,
tactics.
no nothing else. Yeah, but it didn't help.
But yeah, by
Because there
any
was too
means
much time
necessary,
left in the
I
round.
guess.
Didn't help.
Mm.
So, but that was fun. It was a fun ending to the fight.
yeah. So moving on down. Uh, what was the one after before that? That was that.
Jack Rafferty and Reese McMillan was the one before that.
That was
Oh,
good. That was kind of open and shut though for me.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one. So
yeah.
yeah.
Basically, if I can summarize it so that we don't spend too much time because we got some juicy across the pond stuff to talk about. It was basically a fight where McMillan sort of had decent fundamentals, but he just didn't have anything to deter Rafferty from imposing his will.
Mhm.
He would make some good combinations, good flurries, but he was always fighting against the tide, and he had no real way to affect the fight. So when it got to like round 5 and 6, and he's 6 rounds down, and like now the punches are starting to take more of their toll, and his punches aren't generating any response back or any sort of any reaction. It was just one way. Probably the corner should have pulled him out at the end of the 6th round. Instead, they let him go out for the 7th, but he ended up, taking a battering in the 7th, and they threw in the towel anyway. So it was one of those ones. He acquitted himself while he tried, but he knew basically. I think he knew after the 2nd round that there's not really anything I can do to turn this fight around.
Yeah, look, Christopher Anthony's put something good in the chat there. Even though you're a southerner, stock up southerner. Good evening, Christopher. Jack Rafferty looks quite good. I'm not going to lie. It's the first time I've seen him. Too much gas on Azim and Dalton Smith. Interesting.
I mean, look, there were some things that I saw in the fight, and again, this might be maybe just because he didn't respect his opponent. You never know, but he did have tendencies. He was getting caught with shots that I wouldn't expect him to get caught with based on the amount of pro fights he's had. But that also being said, I haven't seen the quality of all the fights. I've only seen about 2 or 3 of his fights.
Yeah,
But
same.
I thought that he would have been um, a bit more precise in those earlier in like the first 2 rounds. Obviously, he got into that groove, but he was always there to get counterpunched, well, which I was noticing. Part of that is obviously being aggressive and committing, so I get that. But there were shots he got hit with that I've not yet seen Azim or Dalton Smith get hit with at any
Interesting.
level. So that's just why I say, okay, you might be towards the bottom run of that totem pole, but also if you bear in mind he's had double the amount of fights of both of those guys. So maybe that's where you see the cap and the ceiling plays out. But he might be one of those upper level British guys or them fringe European guys. That might be where his ceiling lies. I don't know. But he's a fun fighter to watch. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
give him that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Masood fight is that the Masood and Miller. Is it Miller?
Well, put it this way, October. I think Zach Parker was the fight before that.
Oh,
But
sorry.
what I will say is
Sorry.
I saw bits and pieces of that fight, but from Rafferty, that's the only part of the show I started watching. So anything
Okay.
else, you're gonna have to talk about. If
Yeah,
you want to
no,
talk about
we'll move on from that. There's
it. Okay.
plenty of other things that are on the fly that we can talk about. I had the privilege of catching up with the lovely Dillian White. Wasn't really letting much go, as we've obviously heard some rumours. That was, I must say, first reported by Fight Fan TV. So shout out to Danny and the Fight Fan TV crew that put up potential announcements that's coming on Monday. Major press conference. Obviously, I don't know anything about that. We'll just have to wait and see while Guan. But Dillian White was there. He was with Joel Joyce. Interesting. And I spoke to a young light heavyweight that signed, I think, with Frank Warren, and he's been appearing on some of the Box Nation shows. Elliot Elimasi, make sure I pronounce his name right. That was a good conversation as well. So yeah, I was kind of like in and out for the rest of the fight. So I was trying to get some work done round the back. So there was a couple of fights that I missed.
Okay.
Don't choke, Danny. Just doing what I do.
You're making it too easy, October. Please.
No, I'm not. I'm just.
Carry on.
What I do.
Carry on.
There's plenty of other things.
Carry on.
The thumbnails base. Rescue me. What else is on the thumbnails? Because I'm not letting Danny bury me tonight.
Okay, well, look, let's talk about obviously the big news of the week. It was on, then it was off, then it's on with more details. So we're looking at we've got Canelo Alvarez. officially with Riyadh season now, signed the 4-fight deal. First
Yep.
of which will take place in May. And it will be in the Kingdom of Riyadh, with only one of those fights being outside the Kingdom, the one in September. Then the following 2 fights will be back in Riyadh season. Right at the last minute, when everyone believed that, Canelo versus Jake Paul would be taking place in
Imagine.
May instead. And then obviously he would start his Riyadh deal after that. Then we got reports that maybe Turkey Al Sheikh was not happy at having, this Jake Paul, like,
He
foolish
hates that
fight
stuff.
and this YouTube
Yep.
fight instead of the big fight of the year, etc. And yeah, ultimately, it looks as if Canelo played the blinder. He said, "Well, look, they're gonna pay me this over here. Like, what do you want to do for me? What can you give me?" But it's interesting. There was an interview where Turkey did say that he didn't match the offer that Jake Paul provided, or that
Okay.
Netflix provided for Canelo. But clearly, it looks as if maybe the overall package of the 4 fights was a lot
Will
more pleasing
supersede it. Yeah.
to Canelo as a whole. And I mean, look, again, it was a bit of a master stroke. It looks as if Canelo gets what he wants, because he also, I think it was something along the lines of, Canelo said he wanted pay-per-view, but Jake Paul's like, well, no, I've got the Netflix thing. They don't do pay-per-view. They don't need pay-per-view. They're going to give you all your money up front. And maybe that was a sticking point. There's a lot of he said, she said back and forth at the minute. But yeah, it looks as if we're getting William Skull in May.
What do you know about him, Bay? Sorry to interrupt, but look, I don't know anything about him. So can
I've
you
seen
can
a
you
couple of
enlighten
his
me,
fights.
please?
So basically, I don't know how he got the mandatory for the IBF initially, but
Okay.
obviously he's undefeated.
Yeah.
He's a Cuban fighter, not a
Okay.
big puncher, but he's like, obviously he's got, you know what? This is gonna sound so disrespectful, but I hope that you understand where I'm coming from when I say this. He doesn't look that good. He kind of has Solomon Dacus vibes.
Oh
Like,
dear God, why?
no, 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 but no, but let me like, he doesn't necessarily look anything special, but it's clear that whatever he does is effective enough to win
Keep him in
fights.
there. To
Yeah.
keep him in there.
So he hasn't been at the level where maybe what he does is not good
Okay.
enough yet, so to speak. But he's a counter punch. He's a mover.
Is he
He
a
will.
natural 168er?
Yeah, he's a natural 168 guy.
Okay.
So he's, but he is the IBF champion. He's the one that Canelo dropped the belt. He won the vacant title
Fair enough.
against Vladimir. I think it was Vladimir Shishkin that he fought for the vacant title. So
Yeah.
now obviously he's got the belt. And Turkey's probably said, well, no, I would like you to fight him. Get a new. So we go back to undisputed, so Crawford can get opportunity to have an undisputed fight.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I maybe would have said you should tell Terence that he needs to fight him instead and bring a belt to the table. But
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but Terence isn't going to Terence, he doesn't like he's going to fight again, which is a shame. It would have been nice for him to have a fight in the middle. I would have liked to have seen him fight Erislandy Lara at 160 and grab, to see if he can get that belt to,
Yeah.
go up another weight class, get another belt,
Yeah.
then try go for the undisputed after that. To me, I thought that would have been the best course of action. But he wants to seal it out. But ultimately, if he can take the opportunity for all 4 belts, I guess that's what he's going to do. But yeah, look, Danny, what's your thoughts on obviously the whole thing with Turkey, Canelo, Jake Paul, obviously seething at the deception,
I like
and
that. He hasn't
I know
tweeted though, has he? Has he tweeted about it?
who Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's put up I think it's an Instagram video, but he roasted him for like a good minute. He talked about
Serious.
there's a bout agreement that Canelo signed after Canelo said, "Oh, I'll never fight. I ain't fighting no YouTubers." He's like, "Well, look, your signature's on this contract. You was ready to fight me," but he basically called him a mercenary, which is funny because I called him a mercenary in one of my other videos. I said, in the best possible way, he's literally just a mercenary for hire at this point in his stage.
Yeah.
Who's paying me the most money?
Who's paying me the most?
Yeah, let's get it. And I can't. I'm not hating on it, but it's just the Jake Paul video was funny, and he said, "Oh, get that herpes sorted on your lip as well." You
Jesus
pulled
Lord.
Yeah, yeah. And he
Serious.
zoomed in. And he zoomed in. He
Oh,
zoomed in,
come
and then he goes.
on,
He
man.
was calling him a punta. The thing is, I actually learned what that word meant
Not Punta, Puta.
Yeah, Puta. When I
Fruit is
learned
a
that, what that
sauce,
meant.
isn't it?
Huh?
No, Bitch. But
Yeah,
I learned that when I
okay.
watched the film Death Warrant with the Sandman back in the day with Jean-Claude Van Damme, when the guy cornered him in the prison in the laundry section, and he had to mash up two of the brothers. But yeah,
Where would you
yeah,
rather a coleslaw on your lip or somewhere else?
mate, I don't know. But listen, first of all, let's talk about yeah. Shout out to myself, busting the exclusive. Um, Make sure, guys, you check out October Red's interview with Elliot. Main event, Ellie Massey. Great interview. Um, Great interaction and chemistry. Enough skin in teeth. Yeah, they'll talk about the light heavyweight division. Um,
He was
oh,
actually
oh,
quite interested to speak to.
yeah, he had a lot of, he's seen a lot of background of your videos. Yeah, so yeah, it was a very good interview. Guys, make sure you check it out. Yes, and let us know what you think in the comment section. Go into the comment section of the video and let everyone know. There's a new sheriff in town. For the so back to Canelo.
Yeah, back to
Um,
Canelo.
to Canelo, it's good
Because
that
YouTube's
he's.
here forever. So why are you doing this?
I don't know. I don't know. For fight deal with Canelo, he is. I knew that it was a hoax when they said the Terence Crawford fight was off. But what it is, this is what happens when people want to be first too much. I knew because where else was Terence going to go? What else was Canelo really going to do in September and May? So I knew Crawford was going to be on one of them. Obviously, I didn't know William Skull was going to be in it, but hey, it is what it is. And William Skull, yeah, he's not aerodynamic. I wouldn't say he's like. So I know what you mean, based when you're saying Solomon Dakers vibes, but he is a lot. He is a lot better fighter though than Solomon Dakers.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's on the he's
Man,
a better level,
you
but
lot
he
are there
just
burying the
he,
brother. He's catching straws.
no, but it's just
Catching
no, I
straws
just
for
mean it.
nothing.
He
He's
doesn't he
non-aggressive,
doesn't look like he
non-aggressive.
does that much well, but what he does, you can kind of see. You can't really see why it works, but
Could you find a
clearly it works for
non-Birmingham
him.
fighter that you could like associate?
Well, no,
associate?
because Solomon's just he's the perfect example
Oh
for
wow.
this, unfortunately.
You lot are just disgusting. Wait, listen.
I'm trying to find a non-aggressive Londoner. I'm trying to think of one. It'll
Oh,
get
so
to
what
me.
you saying that from man from up north a week?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at
I
all.
mean, I didn't say that at all.
No, I didn't say
You're
that at all.
interpreting that.
Because there's man up
That's
north.
maybe something that you got to discuss with your
Nah.
therapist.
I don't think
But
so.
but Lyndon Arthur's non-aggressive too. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yo, stop this rubbish, man.
I don't know. But there is guys up north who are about it, like Pat
Right,
Barrett.
right. Do you know who might be? So you know who might be a
Go on then.
slightly a lesser comparison in terms of weight. Sorry,
Go
Danny.
on.
Oh shit, what's his name? He was at the GBM show. The former 168. He's gone to 175 now. Got knocked out against Steve Woodall.
Oh, Lerone Richards.
LaRon Richards, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Laron.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's,
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Hot cross
LaRon, him and
buns, brother.
LaRon could be very similar in the way, like they don't.
And to be fair, that makes sense because them two have been compared to each other as well. So take Laron Richards there. Let my man catch some strays.
Okay, yeah. So LaRon is there, the 168 version of or the 175 version of William Skull. We'll keep Dacus out of that for now. But yeah, that's a comparison. He doesn't look the greatest, but whatever he does seems to work well. Sorry, Danny, go for it.
Yeah, so the 4-fight deal next year. I know people are talking about maybe the last fight being David Benavidez. I don't know. I don't think that will probably happen because David will fight a couple of fights and then he will never be able to make 168 again.
Ever.
Nah. So that will be gone. If it wasn't done this, if it's not done this year, is toast. And I think Benavidez has got his sights set on being a 175 champion. Better be
Yeah.
with or whatever. So yeah, just that talk scrap now. So you won't
Base
really
it,
hear
haven't
me.
it?
He's going to cruiserweight. I'm telling you, he's not sticking around at 175.
We'll see. We'll see. Let's just wait and see.
All right.
With Jake
No
Paul,
busted.
I know Jake
Oh
Paul
my
is.
God, Maestro's here.
Hold on, where is he? Let's get him in. Yeah, I know that Jake Paul's fuming.
Good evening.
He was calling, he's calling him names. He did the next video where he was doing this kind of salsa cha-cha dance.
See, I didn't see none of this.
He did the cha-cha well though. He did the cha-cha moves well. I'll give him that. But hey, I did want to see Canelo ice him. But then on another part, you don't really want to give this guy too much shine with the theatrics. So I can see that Turkey's trying to, cut him out and like, yeah, let's keep this
Don't you
tricky.
think it's interesting how he eventually gets to everyone though? It's like if I see His Excellency standing next to Javante Davis, it's all over because it's
Yeah,
like
that's the last piece.
he just gets to everybody. So if I see Javante Davis there, I know that's it. He can get to anyone.
Yeah, that's the last piece. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so yeah, that's my take on it.
Maestro, talk to us, man. Talk to us about Canelo, Turkey, Jake
Well, I
Paul,
actually
Eminem.
wanted to know from the panel, should Skepta have spit some bars last night for Derek Chisora?
No,
I
because
Yeah.
thought
Derek
I
wouldn't have
thought he was
given. Derek wouldn't have paid him.
yeah, I thought he was put on the spot a little bit on that. When I called
Derek does
Danny
that
after the
though.
fight, you know, it is maybe JME or Chip might have spit some bars for
Oh
him.
yeah, Chip would have spit some balls.
Chip would have definitely spit bars. And I saw him in the ring afterwards too. So I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah,
why.
it was a
You,
nice
Obviously,
family
the problem is
picture.
Derek's got a reputation for quote unquote not paying people when he's
Really?
supposed. Like in terms of he makes the bets in it, and then you've had
Right.
Simon Jordan said he ain't paid him for like the last 2 years or something. So maybe they're like, well, if where's the money? I don't want a Five Guys burger. I want to, like,
yeah, ringside tickets aren't exactly enough for Skepta. I was telling Danny last night he probably charges about $100,000.
mm,
Just to show up. So yeah, I thought it was a great night for Derek Chisora.
Mm.
I thought it was a great night for John Oliver. I mentioned that on my channel earlier. And all of the amateur coaches that go unheralded and don't always get the respect to give him that moment in the ring. You could tell it meant a lot to him, and it must mean a lot to his family, his
Mhm.
grandkids, and also for all of the people that grind away in the ABCs, introducing the kids to the sweet science. They don't go. They don't get their credit a lot of the time. So it's very nice to see Derek Chisora do that. Now, as for the Jake Paul situation, that's what you're asking about, right?
Mm.
mhm.
Uh, you know, I'm not as harsh and as critical about Jake Paul as some of the others. I mean, he's still got the tag of a YouTube boxer or of a Disney Channel kid.
I don't think that's ever going to go. You know,
But you
Marshall.
know what though? He's not I think he's definitely above the level of what's that league
No,
called?
I agree,
Um
but the tag's there, isn't it?
Misfits.
Yeah,
He's
he's
above that level. At the end of the day, he fought Tommy Fury, real fighter,
yeah.
right? He fought Andre August, real fighter. I'm not saying they're great fighters, but they're real fighters.
What
And
was
he
the other
fought
one? The
he fought
MMA
this
people.
guy Ryan Borland, also a real fighter. So that's 3 legit real professional fights. Now it's mixed in there with almost 60-year-old Mike Tyson and an
Yeah, let's
almost
not. Yeah.
50-year-old Anderley Silva and a bunch of other MMA guys, but he's at least a 3-0. No, not 3-0. What would that be? It would
It'd
be
be
2
2
and
and
1.
1.
2
Two
and
and
1
one.
in actual pro fight,
Fights.
sanctioned fights with legit boxers. Now, is that enough of a resume to earn him a shot at Canelo? Obviously not. But what he was bringing to the table was
Joe.
money, Netflix, you know what I mean? A lot of fan interest. And as much as we'd love to see Canelo against Beterbiev, Canelo against David Benavidez, Canelo against Bivol maybe in a
Crawford.
rematch, uh, none of those fights are as big as Canelo versus Jake Paul, numbers wise,
Market value, and this is what I'm
numbers
saying.
wise.
Market
So
value. Yeah.
that's just what it is. But I think Turkey made a great point. Turkey Al Sheikh, that is. This fight will always be there for Canelo. This fight isn't going away. It may not be as lucrative if he takes a few more losses, but it's not going away. So there's no reason to do it now. And what they've done to position him against William Skull, the undefeated Cuban IBF super middleweight champion of the world. I know Danny's going to have his views on him and him being a Cuban fighter. and all of the,
We've covered this.
the
Yeah.
stereotypes of Cubans that Danny seems to like
Oh,
to
what
refer
about
to.
quitters?
It's very unfortunate for somebody of Caribbean origin like that, like Danny, to be saying so many
Are you saying that he's
unfortunately
got a crabs in a
negative
barrel
statements
mentality?
about his brethrens from the Caribbean, from the Caribbean. But it is what it is. Danny has issues with Cuban fighters.
No, I don't.
But
One of my favorite fighters was Guillermo
you say-
Rigondeaux.
okay, very good.
Rigondeaux.
I like that. I like that.
He felt
He paints everyone with the Robesi Ramirez brush. Although
And Rigondeaux.
I was about to say
what
Rigondeaux did it
what
as well.
happened to Robesi Ramirez happened to our boy Daniel Dubois, the Deptford daddy, right? The eye socket
The
went and he made
Deptford
it, and
daddy.
he made a wise decision, right? I'll never begrudge somebody for making that wise decision. And Cuba has the highest educational standards in the entire region, so they're smart from that island. So can't begrudge them for that.
Education and intelligence is not the same thing.
Can't begrudge. It's the jewel of El Caribe. It's the jewel. It's got the greatest universities, the best doctors, obviously the best leaders. That's not even in question. So, and it also has the best fighters from the region too. So, bringing it back to William Skull, you rolled your eyes there. Do you have a problem with Stevenson and Savon and some of the legends there, Danny?
No, you said the best leaders. I don't know about that.
We're not going to do leaders. We're not.
we
doing
can do
leaders.
leaders. We can do Fidel. There's
We
nobody.
cannot. We're not doing leaders.
No
We can
other
do Marcus
We're
island.
not doing
Garvey.
leaders.
We can do Nanny of the Maroons. We can do Sam Shaw.
We could talk about Jose Marti. We could talk about Maurice Bishop. You want to get in the history of the region? I'm here to do it. But at the end of the day, you got to give
Let's just
Cuba
back
its
over
credit.
to
They
boxing.
had Maroons in Cuba too. They're called Cimarrones in Spanish.
But they didn't have Nanny of the Maroons, though.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see about that. But that's another topic for another discussion. The fact is, Canelo's fighting William Skull.
Yep.
And they can market this as Canelo going for undisputed to allow Crawford to go for 3-division undisputed. So it's actually a beautiful chess move right there by Turki El Sheikh. Great chess move, and it sets up a really big fight with Crawford for all the belts minus the IBO title, which is held by yet another Cuban in the division. Great fighter.
Yeah, Iglesias.
Oh yeah. Iglesias, the IBO 168 champion of the world right there. Fighting out of Germany, funny enough. So
interesting.
It is what it is. It's for 4 of the 5 belts plus the Ring Magazine belt.
Yeah.
Right. We are in the 5-belt era after all. And Canelo's doing his thing. William Skull's doing his thing. I gotta give them all credits. Minus the IBO title, of course. You guys laugh and roll your eyes, but Loma held it. Triple G held it. Dimitri Bivol, he did hold it. Better Beeb held it. And the greatest of all time, Lennox Lewis, proud holder of the IBO title.
Not by itself. I keep telling you, it's a good accompaniment belt. You can't hold it solo and say it's anything special.
It's an accompanying belt.
Yeah, I mean, they said that about the WBO title too. Don't forget that.
Yeah, until it got recognized. But
why did it get recognized? It got recognized because of Oscar, right, taking the title from Felix Sturm and then getting unified by B-Hop.
And then they voted it in to be a part of the.
Yeah,
the major
I voted Lennox in. I voted the IBO title in.
Okay, so Lyndon Arthur's a former world champion for you.
Yeah, he is because Lennox was.
And Prince Patel is a current world champion.
Well, I gotta give, if he held the title, Prince Patel, he's a former IBO world champion. Yes.
And Chris Eubank Jr.
Chris Eubank Jr., IBO world titleist.
But IBO world titleist, but not a world titleist. So you put the IBO in front of it first.
No, it's this accompanying
Let me
thing
ask you
again.
this: was Herbie Hyde a world champion? Was Chris Eubank Sr. a world champion? Talk to me.
Yeah.
There you go. So,
but that's a little bit different. But okay.
Why is it? But the WBO wasn't recognized then, right?
It wasn't just the WBO that they held, but all right. Cool.
No,
Let's go
okay.
on.
Well, this is a topic for another day.
Yeah, you know
Topic for-
what, and that this is where I'll actually sit out and go in the chat because I don't. Yeah, I'll leave the belt talk to you. So Canelo with his excellency
Yeah.
chess move, he's brought another one in. I want to know what you think. I was saying if he gets Gervonta Davis on board, then I'd say that's game, set, and match. If you can get Gervonta Davis on side, then it's curtains for everyone.
I don't see that happening, to be
I
honest.
didn't see Canelo coming either.
Yeah, but Canelo does take on much stiffer opposition, even lately. But throughout his career, I mean, the dude has challenged himself. I mean, Gervonta Tank Davis is about to fight Lamont Roach. His last fight was Frank Martin.
Yeah.
The fight before that was
Duarte.
yeah. I mean, he fought Ryan Garcia, who's not held a world championship, and he needed a catch weight and a rehydration clause and a spy in the camp to do it. So you know, it's a. I mean, I'm not even gonna disrespect Canelo by comparing Gervonta Davis to him.
When we talk, I'm not talking
not
about
gonna
the
do it.
caliber of the fighters, because come on,
Yeah.
Canelo's a 20+ year veteran in the game itself,
All-time great.
and a world title, multiple world title belt holder. But I'm talking about the rigidness that sometimes we have with the American fighters that don't want to, and quite rightly so, they have their reasons, do not want to join up and sign up with His Excellency to come over to that side to have fights under his sort of like promotional or paid umbrella. So that's what I'm looking at it like. Not necessarily the caliber, but you can't deny that Gervonta Davis has got a massive name in boxing.
Absolutely.
He's a name, he's a brand within itself. And he showed resistance just like Canelo did.
Yeah. You know, somebody pointed out that he asked for the 2 cars just to have a conversation. So
I remember that.
you know, and somebody else pointed out that cars are depreciating assets, which is another good point. You know, of all things that you could ask for, he probably should have asked for a condo or something. I don't know, but look, Base, what do you think? Is he going to fight in a competitive fight in Riyadh, let's say against a Shakur Stevenson? Do you see that?
It's a fight that I'd want to see.
What you mean? If he goes to Riyadh, or
Yeah.
if he was to go to Riyadh, he wouldn't have any other choice. Turkey's not going to give him any
Free
layup
rides.
fights like he's been getting for PBC. So that's probably why he won't go there. I've said that all the fights that people say they want to see for Davis, he's not going to have them. He
Never
won't have
had them. I mean, guys have left the division waiting for fights with him or having them on the die on the vine. I mean, Teofimo was in the same weight class, right? Loma's pretty much retired now.
Yeah.
Fighting for his fellow members of the Orthodox Church that the dictator Zelensky's banning over there, right? What
Devin
else?
Haney.
Devin Haney moved up out of the division. I mean, they're all gone. That whole thing that was there, the whole new era of the four kings, right?
Kings, yeah.
They're all gone. And it's just Shakur, and Shakur's been calling for the fight. You know, you listen to the YouTubers and even, you know, urban radio in New York City and beyond in the East Coast, definitely. People have been asking for that fight. And his response is, who is Shakur Stevenson? What has Shakur Stevenson done? Well, by that standard, I mean, who is Lamont Roach? What has he done?
Yeah.
Right? Who is Hector Luis Garcia? What has he done? Who is Frank Martin? What has he done? Who is Pitbull Cruz at the time? What has he done? Like, you could go down the list. Shakur's a 3-weight world champion, formerly unified at 130, with legit wins on his record against actual world champions. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't really see it happening.
Well, he's out in a bit anyway, so he's moving forward. Shakur's moving forward because obviously that's the card that we're going to be doing our live show around. Obviously the 22nd. Obviously it's a couple of weeks away, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty to discuss because that card is stacked from top to bottom. I don't know if there's any more topics that we need to cover.
Did you hear about Adames not getting into Saudi?
Who?
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
Adames.
Adames. I thought that was kind of weird.
Adames.
So basically, just to
Mhm.
give you
That's
a
fighting
update,
Hamza.
Yeah, you
yeah.
tell it, Base.
So what apparently the situation was, he wanted to go in 2 weeks before the
Yeah,
fight. He said he wanted to get acclimatized,
I get
but
it.
his visa or something in their reading say that he can't enter the country until 9 days before the fight. So he wanted an extra 5 days to go get settled and acclimatized, and they say nine. Um, and obviously he was initially complaining, saying, "Well, I'm here at the airport. They won't let me fly." So it was, some people are suggesting that he's already getting the excuses in case that he loses the fight. Oh well,
I
I
didn't
wasn't
get
able
acclimatized.
to
Yeah.
acclimatize properly. But to be totally honest, look, some people say, look, 9 days is more than enough time. Some people say that no,
No.
he should be allowed the 2 weeks. We don't know how his body reacts to the flights and the time delays. It's about 17 hours from America to Saudi, give or take. So, maybe they should have made a special dispensation. He's over there. I think he is over there now, or he will be over there this week. But I think obviously he wanted to go when he wanted to
Earlier.
go. So,
Here's the
um,
thing. I mean, if he's willing to pay for whatever the difference is between how many days they were willing for him
Yeah.
to be in a hotel and whatever the amount of time is that he wants to be out there, I mean, why deny him entry to the country? That doesn't really make sense. Like, let him,
yeah.
if he's willing to pay his accommodation and cover
Mhm.
his food expenses and
Yeah.
just wants extra time to feel
Or pay for a
comfortable,
pasta visa.
he's the world champ.
yeah.
You know
The
what I
thing
mean?
is,
Like,
yeah, no, the thing is, they could have done it because there's been many of fighters who've gone out there for a month, 3 weeks, and 2 weeks
Yeah,
and stuff
3 weeks
like
we've seen that.
that.
Yeah.
But let's remember, he is fighting the ambassador of Riyadh season, so he isn't going to get the most favourable of conditions. So yeah, this is
Well,
just
no,
part of
no,
the
you
game.
know what? Sorry, that I don't think they don't really. Everyone, by all accounts, they don't move like that. That's something you'd expect from maybe like Russia or like Germany or something.
whoa, 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 Russia?
Oh, I'm not doing this tonight.
Now, if you remember come on,
I'm
you've
I'm
heard
not doing
about.
this tonight. I'm not
No,
doing it.
no, but I'm just saying we've heard about what happens if you like a person
Yeah,
travels
we've
over
seen
to
it.
Russia or Poland or Germany.
Or the
I
United
got sick of
States?
these.
Yeah, but even the United States, paint gate and all that sort of stuff. But
Even the UK actually, because Kelson
They
Pinto got
all
done over.
do it. I'm just don't
but,
want to
that, but
single out one country because they all do it.
but that's why I didn't just say
He
one
did. He
country.
said two countries.
But my
Right.
point was, I don't. From what we've heard, everyone's heard of the Saudis. They don't seem to do the discrimination thing, and I think because they're still trying to build that infrastructure and that look, they don't want any negativity, so they're going to
I
treat
agree.
everyone
I agree.
with as much
And they
respect.
are strict with the visas because I know that because obviously I was told if I was going to go out there, to make sure you do it way ahead of time. Be specific on the dates that you're going to be there because you could end up like hanging around in the airport and you can't get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
So
They are strict with the visas. I will say that you do.
Mm.
You do have to uh, cross your dot
yeah,
your i's and cross
Cross
your
your
t's.
T's and dot
yeah.
your I's.
Yeah, yeah, that one.
I don't know if you want to finally touch on the rumors of the potential fights that are potentially being announced. I don't know because, like I
Well,
said,
before we
Danny.
do that, just
Oh,
let
go on.
Maestro, because Maestro didn't actually give us his opinion of Chisora and Wallin, like just the fight itself. Just
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Look, it was vintage Chisora in terms of effort, but you can definitely tell that he's been in the ring for a long time. You know, he's moving a little bit slower. The legs are moving a little bit slower. His recovery powers and his cardio output is still very impressive, especially for a 41-year-old. I forget what round was it. Guys, remind me. Was it the
7.
seventh round where he
Yeah,
had Wallin against the ropes and was
yeah,
just like
7.
going? Yeah, yeah. It was.
Mhm.
Yeah, from I've only seen the fight once, so I'm
Same.
pretty sure it was the seventh. Yeah, it wouldn't have been more than the eighth, but I want to say seventh. He had him against the rope. He's firing right hooks, right hooks, left hook.
Overhands.
He's over ends. He's doing that little stance switch where he goes from south so orthodox in the
I like that
southpaw.
switching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got that switch, and then he was using the cross guard too. Um, Wallin just really wasn't able to establish any kind of rhythm or get his jab going any kind of authoritative way. You'd think that there were some openings there for him to take maybe a half step back at an angle and maybe hit Chisora with a right uppercut or with a left uppercut, but I think he was so worried about getting countered from Chisora's
Windmills.
unorthodox punches, let's put it that way, that he essentially kept his guns holstered for most of the night. This is going to sound extreme, but Danny, this is my impression after the fight. I told you when I called you. I haven't watched the fight again, but I didn't give him a round when I was watching the fight.
Not one round.
I heard you say that on your show.
Yeah,
That was a bit crazy.
Maybe I gotta go. Maybe I gotta go back and watch it.
I think they generously gave him three.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't scoring the fight. I was enjoying myself. I was there. It was all about supporting Derek Chisora. At least, I like Derek. My wife likes Derek. It was a night of enjoyment. You know what I mean? And let's just say the environment wasn't conducive to scoring a fight in Casa Maestro. So I'll have to go back and watch it under more professional circumstances. Let me put it that way. And I'll give you my opinion, but I was biased for Chisora anyways, and I was enjoying the fight, and I didn't really, in the moment, see anything impressive from Wallin. But I will go back and watch it. I do think, though, that he was leaning in with his head. And there was a moment or two where he was like trying to get in at the cut a little bit.
The cut got open because of the tape.
I'm just gonna say it. Those are dirty tactics, man. Yeah. Those are dirty tactics.
He's been a very dirty fighter. Surprisingly, he's a very dirty.
Yes,
he is very dirty with the forearm and the you could see the tape where he slices it across his face.
You're talking about a guy. When you got a guy, and I'm just gonna finish with the point I think you were about to make, Base. When you got a guy who is more of a boxer counterpuncher, right? But yet he's leading with his head. That's not the instincts of a boxer counterpuncher. That's tactic right there. To use your head like that.
Face was cut off.
You know what I mean? So, and you look at Chisora's face, he had gash on above one eye, gash above the other eye. One eye he was gashed under as well.
There was two under. Two
under. Thank you, Base. So I wasn't a big fan of that.
He said that in the post-fight presser, to be fair. He mentioned that he was leading with his head, and that's what bossed up his face.
But no, I will. I say
Star Fox knows what time it is, but don't highlight that comment.
No, I was.
No, I'm not.
I gave it 116, 110. I gave Wallin 4 rounds as well. So yeah, when you go back and watch it, I think you will score a couple rounds for him. I wanted to ask you though, do you think he would have had a little bit of a better chance or able to get more of a foothold in the fight had they have been in a normal heavyweight size ring, 20 by 20? Rather than 18 by 18. Do you think that might have hampered him a bit?
I think it might have hampered him a little bit, but I'm gonna rewatch it. Little less Peter Tosh. You know what I mean, and little more focus on the fight. I'm gonna give you the full technical breakdown. Next time I talk about this fight, the full technical analysis. But
okay, cool.
Last night I was just enjoying number 49 for Mr. Derek Chisora.
I would shout out the number 13 he also had on his shorts as well. Good number that is.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, what was we just about to... Oh, you're about to ask Maestro something else before?
No, I was saying about these potential
tomorrow.
Danny was like, there's potential fights. We've seen, reports on X about Joel Joyce potentially fighting Dillian White. That's been out there. The Ring magazine's put that out. So, yeah. Obviously not asking you to reveal your sources, Danny, but...
Just word on the canvas. There's, David Adelaide potentially fighting Jamie TKV.
If that fight happens, how do you think that goes with them two?
Bro, David Adelaide is going to get another brutal knockout is what's going to happen.
You think he's going to literally ice my man then?
Based on what I saw in the last fight, absolutely.
Well, Jamie could smother him and make it quite difficult for him to get those shots off,
Yeah,
Remember, with that new style.
Baj's not convinced, but Danny.
I like the quick twitchiness.
Yeah, but you need room for that. You need room.
Of our man there. He's fighting like David Hay was fighting in his primes. That's what he looked like in that last fight.
David Hay.
Quick twitchy, man.
You need
quick
room
twitchy. Hmm?
Yeah, but you need room for those shots. So when a man's smothering you and bringing you into the mud and bringing you rolling in the mud with you, it's not a nice place to be. It doesn't look great on the eye, but it's
No.
like how Matt Skelton, the Bedford Bear, used to do it. He used to take you into those waters, and,
Yeah.
it's like those swamps down in Florida, man.
Yeah,
I think it's a good fight. Let's see what happens.
yeah. I think it's definitely it's a fight to tune in for. Personally, I'd rather see him in there with Johnny Fisher. That's who I'd like to see him in there with.
Why? What do you think?
MTKV.
David Adelaide.
That's what. But why though?
I just like the way that I think that fight plays out. I think that Johnny. One thing that Johnny Fisher showed me in that last fight is that he's got a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And when he gets hurt, he tries to get you right back. You know what I mean? That you mix that in there with David Adelaide's like athletic, like I was saying earlier, twitchy style. I think that's a more compelling matchup in terms of offense. Whereas I see your man's key to success being what Danny was talking about, which is like slowing down the fight, using his weight, his size, smothering him. I mean, that just doesn't sound as appealing or exciting to me personally. So, that's just the way I look at it. I think Johnny Fisher versus Adelaide is an explosion waiting to happen.
I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I heard there was an announcement coming soon that Ben Whittaker is now signed to fight Liam Cameron in April in the Midlands. Is that right?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard. Word on the canvas. Well, I saw it online actually. I saw it all over.
And apparently, what's his name? Fraser Clark is supposed to be returning on that card as well.
Fighting, yeah. Well, to be fair, Shalom did say that Fraser Clark was returning in April, but who's the opponent?
He's already said it won't be anyone of note. He kind of said that about a month ago.
And he's in Joseph Parker's camp at the moment.
You know what? I have a good opponent for TKV. It's Moses Itauma.
They're in the same camp.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
In the same gym, yeah.
Yeah, they're in the same camp. Him, Fabio.
I got a good fight for your boy though from Birmingham in the light heavyweight division, right?
What, Shakan?
Nah. Ben Whittaker. He's from Birmingham area, right? I'm not
Wolverhampton. Yeah.
Yes, close by. Sorry, Wolverhampton. Sorry for that.
Sorry, Birmingham, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Birmingham. More to the point. Yeah, sorry about that. David Morrell Jr., man. Let's get him as UK.
You know what? Base is already
David Morrell
the
Jr.
shit out of me.
He needs to come back fight. We need to settle. We need to settle.
Pisses me off.
We need to settle.
Just won't let
David Morrell Jr. versus
eat a dick, Maestro.
Your guy.
Eat a big fat dick. Choke on the dick. Listen, I don't care. Eat it. Cause stop this shit. I've already had this from base.
Look, your words are out there forever, October. You have to accept this. When you say things online, if it's
you're
accountable forever.
You said it here on Fight Talk Live.
Countering, eat a dick.
October, listen.
No, I ain't
listening. No, listen. I'm here to back you. I'm here to back you a little bit. Maestro just needs a get back because remember, he's already lost. So now he needs a Morrell to do something.
You know what? I laugh. Yeah, you know what?
Because he couldn't beat my nephew, now he wants to go for your boy.
You see that? Trying to target the weaknesses in that, Maestro.
I mean, it was a no contest, wasn't it?
You know what? Just choke.
I mean, my guy's coming off of a loss. My guy just got beat by the monster. Your guy, I don't know what happened to your guy, to be honest, but he had issues with Cameron. So
ain't it the Mancunian Baturbia? What was he from again?
Listen, he might have had issues with. Let's see how the rematch goes.
Yeah.
I think that fight sells out the arena in Birmingham. I'm just saying.
Okay, but
that fight sells out the stadium in Wolverhampton. Sells it out.
Well, it'll be Resorts World, won't it?
Yeah, more than likely. No, because remember, they did do that Wolverhampton, the ballroom.
Very small.
Yeah, but they might give him that. Well, let me ask you though, serious question: Like
Yeah.
if he comes in, like, and obviously deals with Cameron and shows that like it was a one-off fluke and
Yeah.
everything. Like, are you still on the he beats Morel train?
You know what? I don't. I'm not even. You know what? I'm not backing a fight ever again. You know, I'm not
Okay.
doing it.
Or just not? Are you, or is
You
it
know
just
what?
not
They
just
don't back
one
me
fight?
like how I back them. So let's see what happens. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the fighters back you, man. The fighters back you.
No, I
Nah,
know what she means. No, that's cold. That's cold. So she'll probably tell you off camera. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But, also, I see what's his name, Jordan Thompson. It looks like he's training down at the farm with Don Charles. I see he's
He
training there a
started
lot.
there.
Oh, is it?
He started. Don Charles was his trainer. So good. I'm glad he's gone back there.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Put that in
So
your pipe.
just since I'm gonna be going to the fight, I might as well talk about it, right? This Friday night in New York City, we're gonna see Dennis Berenchik defend
Oh.
his WBO lightweight championship against Norfolk, Virginia's undefeated Keyshawn Davis. So
On
Keyshawn
Friday,
apparently forgot
Valentine's night.
who Andy Cruz is. I'll be sure to ask him about Andy Cruz after the fight, should he win. I think he's going to win, but it's no easy fight at all. We also have the return of one of the big babies. I can't co-sign the nickname the real big baby, but he's one of the big babies, one of the
Jared
two
is
big
on that
babies.
card, isn't he? Yeah.
Jared Anderson's making his return
Good
to the
for
ring
him.
as well. So I'll be there. I'll be there ringside for that fight.
Ask
And
him about Moses Atuma if you can. If you can get Jared Anderson, please.
there you go, guys, in the chat. If you got any questions for any of these fighters, anything you'd like me to ask, or maybe even of Bob Arum himself, just let us know in the comment section to this video, or hit me up on social media, or drop it right now in the chat. But yes, I think it's
And
gonna
Riyadh
be
Paul's returning as well. You know.
it's Nico Ali Walsh is going to be on the card. Roman Polanco, who's a pretty good fighter, Dominican top ranked prospect, former Olympian. Abdullah Mason's making his return. He had a couple rough patches in his last fight. Vito
he's learning.
Milnecki Jr., the former PBC fighter. I think this is his second fight with top rank. And Xander Zayas, the undefeated 154-pound contender, highly ranked 154-pound fighter, a Puerto Rican top rank contender. He is going to be on the card as well. So it's a pretty good card, guys.
Well, we'll be catching up on Sunday anyway, won't we?
Yes.
Yes, we will.
Yes. And we better, because we got a big card taking place the following Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, listen.
And I'll be down to do more stuff during the week that week too, because I actually have
Following the press
off of school.
conferences.
I have a week off of school that week.
Yeah.
It's President's Week here in New York City. So
We could actually do some post media stuff, like the ring, whatever they do, the whatever, the
I know
red
what you're talking
carpet
about.
stuff.
Yeah, let's not also just we spoke about Friday. Let's not disrespect Jack Catterall and Arnold Barbosa and that card. There's card there.
It's a good
taking
card.
place in Manchester again.
Yeah.
Good card.
So we'll have a lot of content to talk about next
Absolutely.
week, as well as what's about to take place the week.
Prograde was supposed to return that Saturday too, but he
on
got
the Golden
injured.
Boy. The Golden
On the Golden Boy card,
do we know who Duarte's fighting now? Have they announced a replacement yet?
Let me look that up right now. We'll do some real-time research work. Oscar Duarte.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that fight.
I was.
Hold on, while you're doing that,
He's going to be taking on Miguel Madueno.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
So, a Mexican fighter, who apparently is still suspended indefinitely by the the New Jersey Athletic Control Board. So I don't know.
just a
Maybe
bit of writing.
that needs to be updated. I don't know, but he lost. This is a guy who lost to Keyshawn Davis by unanimous decision. So he's a good fighter. He's got a couple losses, or 3 losses, but he's a good fighter. He also lost to Steve Claggett and to Jelrel Corrales. So
I mean, look, for a last minute, 2 weeks,
not a bad one.
not a bad opposition. And just to answer this question, no, I'm not going to Saudi, Tony. I didn't get the accreditation, so I wasn't spending all that money to go.
Imagine.
But the funny thing is, I still have a visa for Saudi, which doesn't run out until March. but I'm not using it because that money can be better served elsewhere.
100%.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want to, before we wrap up, I just wanted to say and pass on sincere condolences to the young fighter, John Cooney, who passed away recently after, fighting only a week before. I know we sit here and we talk about fights and we have a laugh and a joke and we speak about all sorts of aspects of boxing. But if there's any fighters that actually are listening, just to let you know, we actually do care about the fighters and we know how dangerous this sport is, because that guy was I think he was only about 20 years old, but no, born 1996, sorry, so he's 28 years old, and unfortunately sustained a brain injury and then unfortunately lost his life. Boxing, serious sport, and sometimes I think we don't realize that. We are very, very ungrateful and our fickleness can make us oversee and not appreciate the fighters for what they do. They are literally risking their lives for our entertainment. So I just want to say, just from the panel, to pass on our sincere condolences to the family of Mr. Cooney.
Yeah, I reiterate that, and it's funny. It's, well, not funny, but it's ironic that Kieran Aguiarco he made a tweet about something like that recently about how much money fighters put into all their medical expenses, all the people they got to pay, and they risk their lives for our entertainment. And Aguiarco, he's from Ireland as well, and I'll
Yeah.
be in Northern Ireland, where Cooney's from, in a few weeks for Craig's fight as well. So yeah, condolences to that young man. And yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's always sad when we hear about news like this,
Yeah.
because we all make little fun and jokes about knockouts and people getting knocked out and stuff like that, but there is some serious repercussions and risks that go with this sport. This isn't. It's not tiddlywinks. It's not a game of chess. This is when these fighters are in there. It really is a life and death situation. So we have to respect them, and just always bear that in mind, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, on that note, I'm gonna have to go because I'm out and about in the morning.
Okay.
So
I just had one question. Somebody in the comments mentioned Anthony Yard returning to Queensbury. Is that confirmed?
Yes, because Frank Warren said that he is back with Queensbury.
Excuse me?
Somebody asked Frank Warren, and Frank Warren said, yes, Anthony Yard is back with Queensbury. We're all sorted now.
Well, Frank Warren was always adamant about the fact that he had him still under a valid contract.
Yeah.
So
I
guess
say less because there's legals involved around that, and I don't want us wrapped in that conversation. So
No. I'm not getting no letters through my door. But yeah, Frank Warren said on an interview that Anthony Yard is back with Queensbury. That's
congratulations.
Just asking the questions. I just saw it in the chat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we can wrap that one. Danny, do you want to do the honors as always?
Yes, and there you have it, guys. It's another episode of Fight Talk Live. It's Danny Glover. It's October Red. It's Bass the Kid and Maestro. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is.